As you would know, principals are increasingly facing legal threats from parents if they feel their children have been overlooked for co-curricular activities, sports teams, debating teams, school musicals. It's prompted Crown Law to draft advice for school boards who are facing parents who are lawyered up to the hilt. So how concerning is this for schools, and are legal threats undermining a principal's authority? Secondary Principals Association of New Zealand President Sandy Pasley joins me now. Sandy, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Thank you very much for coming in. How big a problem is this?
Well, I think in the last year it's got certainly a lot of media attention, and we're really concerned about it. It's very sad that schools are having to look at advice for injunctions that parents might take, and we are concerned.
How much of this comes as a result of the judge forcing St Bede's College to take those two rowers back?
I think that was certainly a shock to schools, and it was really sad that it came to that. One of our executive members, Patrick Walsh, actually approached Crown Law and the Ministry of Education and said that schools really need help and support on these issues if they're faced with injunctions. What do we do?
So when you say if they're faced with injunctions, how many situations have actually gone to the point that parents have called their lawyers and principals have found themselves dealing with lawyers?
I think it could have happened quite a lot. We don't get to often hear about it through the media, but certainly this year there have been cases where we've heard in the media, whether it be school uniforms, hair length, the sports, rowing.
Is there a fund for this? I mean, when schools have to employ lawyers of their own, where does that money come from?
It ultimately comes from the operating costs of the school.
So it hurts everybody?
Yes, it does.
The thing about this is that it's a reasonably new phenomenon, isn't it? Parents sort of legaling themselves up to try and, I suppose, queer the pitch when it comes to how their child is treated at school.
Yes, and it's really sad because I think that young people need to learn the consequences of their actions.
Absolutely.
And it really needs the partnership between the parents and the school working together for that young child to really be a responsible citizen.
The other aspect too is that surely it is the principal and the board that run the school, not the parents. The parents have their way democratically through the election of the board and through conversations and everything that parents have always used.
Yes, indeed. And the board actually reflects the community majority decision on certain issues, and they represent the community. So it's they're there for the parents. And as you say, every 3 years they have an election and parents can choose.
All right, so how concerned, from your point of view, at the Secondary Principals Association, how many principals have come to you and expressed a growing concern about this?
We get a number of calls in our Secondary Principals Association office about issues, and we've got a lawyer, a SPAN's lawyer, Richard Harrison, who actually talks with principals on different issues where parents are getting quite litigious.
What is the way out of this?
I just think that it would be really good if parents actually were supportive of schools.
Well, it would be really good if we lived in an ideal world, but we don't. And
Yes.
I don't think you can say as an answer to this, these parents need to grow up, as I said a little bit earlier, because these sort of parents are just these sort of parents.
Yes.
So the answer to this has to really come from you and has to come from the ministry, I suppose. There has to be some clear direction to principals to help them.
Yes, certainly that will really help principals and give them strength to their arm.
Can't we just say can't the principals just say, oh, bring on the lawyers?
No.
Bring them on. I'm running this bloody school. This is the way I run the school. And if you're not happy, take your kid out.
Yeah.
And if you don't leave my office now, I'm throwing your kid out.
I think principals would try to do everything right in the first instance, and then they need great support if parents go to the lawyers. I think that it's really good that the Ministry of Education have supported secondary principals by taking this action with Crown Law.
It's tricky though, isn't it? Because, we know that teaching is a hard job.
Yes.
We know that particularly being a principal, running a school, you have to be a CEO, you have to be a teacher, you have to be so many different things. And I don't want my taxpayers' money going to fight some shonky parent somewhere who's got more money than sense. And I don't want the principals to be spending my taxpayers' money on their time discussing things with those parents. It surely is a simple matter of the principal saying, look, I have the right to do that. That's what I've done. Leave my office.
Yes. Well, that would be great, Paul, if that's reinforced, because every principal in New Zealand would really be thrilled if that was the case.
Well, every principal in New Zealand is watching and listening to us now. So that is my message to them. It's good to know, Sandy, that you and the organisation are watching this very closely and trying to support principals in this, along with the ministry.
Thank you.
All right, we'll watch this space. Sandy Pasley, Secondary Principals Association of New Zealand, the President.